Welcome to another spot interview of NeverEndingPanel.com. I'm here with the editor of Heika
Soto.
See, I would never get that correct.
Heika
Heika Soto, which is an imprint of Viz Media.
It's like Soto.
Not Soto. Soto is Yiddish.
No, Soto.
I know.
But it's pronounced the same way.
You're talking to me like you're some kind of Japanese expert.
But this you should get. This is a one syllable that
Why
you should
should I get it?
Because it's the
It's
same
been a
syllable
long
of
day.
Surus. Haiku Tsuru.
Oh, haiku like Surus but Suru?
Yeah, Haiku Tsuru.
Yeah,
Yes,
Tsuru.
exactly that.
Exactly right.
Viz Media, you may not know, but Viz Media is a very big company of which this company is the imprint of. Viz Media brought us Pokemon, brought us Naruto. Did I say that right?
Naruto.
See, Naruto.
Now you got me doing it.
See, I got him saying it wrong.
You should interview me instead.
You should.
Yes.
But it's over. But it didn't make it. What's really interesting about what Nick does is he takes...
Tell him the big one.
What do you mean?
Let him know how big this company is.
I said,
than
what's bigger than
Pokemon?
Pokemon?
Nothing.
What they brought in.
I said they brought in
Oh, you
Pokemon.
did wrong?
Were you not
Yes.
paying attention
Yes.
to me while I was looking at the camera?
Honestly, when you
saying,
speak, it just kind of fades out.
It's like a
for
buzzing
while.
sound for him, I
Yeah,
guess.
pretty much.
That's exactly what I said to the camera.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So what's interesting about what Nick does is that he actually takes Japanese science fiction and has it translated and edited for the American market. What I'm really fascinated about is what is it like? How is it different? You know, what words do you have to change? You know,
How much
I
do
can't
you
begin
keep
to
Japanese
imagine.
and how much
yeah.
do you just alter so the Americans will even begin to understand?
When you say Japanese science fiction to an American, they're going to look at you like the dogs at "Arr?" You know, so where do you start?
Well, it's strange. It's very heavily influenced by American science fiction from the 50s and 60s. So imagine
Golden
America, you know, breaking off in the 50s and 60s, then sort of having a parallel evolution where they lost a major war and have a very technocratic society. So it's, I'd say it's more optimistic than American science fiction these days, more scientifically oriented, and more oriented toward the idea of international cooperation and world peace than, say, American SF, which tends to be very militaristic.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I would know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And then how do you choose? In other words, obviously there's a lot written. So which pieces do you choose for the American market?
We try to find things that were very successful in Japan, and we try to branch out a lot. Like we're doing 2 books this month. One is called The Next Continent, which is about a private mission to the moon, a very classic science fiction idea. The Japanese twist is that the mission of the moon is to build a permanent settlement, and that permanent settlement is a wedding chapel. So you can get married on the moon.
Ah, very smart.
Our other book this month
It's essentially the hotels in space.
Right.
Kind
So
of.
forget conquest, missile bases, military
right.
organizations.
Well,
How
Yeah.
to get married.
We're
It
just
is
putting them in.
romantic on the moon.
I love it.
And the wedding industry in Japan is huge, so this is almost just a very
An exaggeration
small,
of what's already
speculation about
happening.
what will probably happen.
It's
yeah.
hilarious. It's funny in its own way as Snow Crash was the whole notion of pizza delivery, and that's what
Exactly.
America's really good at.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
And the other book we're doing is Loops Garus, which is a dystopian future mystery that might be about a werewolf.
A dystopian
Future
mystery
mystery that might be.
that might. I'd
might
stick the word
be-
"just." That just might
might
be
be
about a
about a
werewolf.
That's right.
I love that.
And in
tagline.
this dystopian future, everyone is looking at their iPads constantly.
Right.
Everyone has this what they call a monitor, and it's basically an iPad. And making eye contact is a huge deal. It's like telling somebody you love them.
Right. In Japan, it's a huge deal.
Right. In this future, it's a huge deal.
Okay.
And everything is based around the surveillance state that is run through these monitors. You are both having a monitor, and you are being monitored at all times.
Big brother-y.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
So in this
dystopian part.
circumstance, there's this weird serial killer who
You're on the
seems
watch
to
and the
be
watcher.
you know, eating livers.
Okay. And that's the werewolf part.
That may be the werewolf part.
That may be the werewolf part. So
That's right.
is this a mystery? Is this a detective thing? You know, we got to track this guy down.
Well, the other Japanese twist is that it's 3 teenage girls who are trying to track this guy down.
I love it.
Oh.
You know, it's so funny. The American mind just immediately goes to the protagonist, the hero, the whatever. 3 Japanese girls makes perfect sense trying to track down a werewolf who's been staring in or eating livers from lots of human beings.
While everybody's staring at their iPads.
That's right.
Well, how has this been received?
Oh, pretty well. We've been doing this for about a year now. Our books came out in July of 2009.
Do they
so
come
we're
out as
starting
single books or do they come out as anthologies?
again. No, we do 2 books every other month.
Okay.
And they're you know, pretty...
About how many is like big, thick books, YA, adult, what is it?
It's a strange mix. In Japan, they have something called a light novel, which is essentially a young adult novel with illustrations. And we've done a few of those. And we've also done many thicker books. Like Loops Garu, I call a 600-page haiku.
Okay. Gesundheit.
Yes.
Haiku, Gesundheit, get it? Okay. Sorry, yeah.
Again, it's, you know, very long and intense and deep book, but it's written in such an avant-garde fashion that it feels like a very long poem about the moon.
Got it. Okay. And where can, if somebody is interested in reading any bit about these works, is there any work up there for them to see on the net?
On haikasuru.com.
Say that really slow.
Haikasuru.com.
Spell it out.
Haikasoru.
Once again?
Haikasoru.
Thank you.
Which is sort of how a Japanese person might say High Castle. From The Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick.
Or how...
and which Japan had taken over America.
Or how a Yiddish person would say Tsuris. No, not quite.
All right. I got to ask this question. How did you get into this business?
Yes.
Well,
how do you end up waking up?
Are you like 13 years old and saying, man, I want to import Japanese science fiction into the United States?
Well, it was strange. I've been a freelance writer for many years, and I edited a magazine called Clark's World, and I was looking for a job. And just on a lark, I sent my resume in. And the first question they asked me in my interview was, so are you a fan of anime and manga? And I said, no. And apparently
hired.
That was the right answer. Because
Wow.
every time they look for someone at Viz Media, they get a million people applying who are just, I don't know anything about this job, I don't know what a janitor does, or comptroller, whatever the job is, but I love Pokemon, I have to work for you.
Right.
And me sort of having experience with science fiction and fantasy, and not really knowing very much about Pokemon, was show to them that I'm sane.
Fresh eyes,
Yes,
you're
exactly,
saying.
yes.
Got it. That's a
We
very
can
good
talk to
question.
you.
Yes. Well, Nick, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being a part of NeverEndingPanel.com. A fascinating story, and one I'm assuming our readers...
Cheers, jab. Here we go.
Is there like a special like?
Well, actually, in the
How
old
come he
days,
gets
it
a
was
special
this
hand?
way, this way, then you'd actually do this, and
And
then...
okay. Yes.
Old days.
The old days.
For me, it was just like none of that. I get so crazy. And
You were not in the
you were in
clique,
that group.
obviously.
Oh, thanks.
You're not in that group.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank Nick for being
Never.
here on NeverEndingPanel.com. Eitan, it was really nice meeting you. Good job. Yeah. All right, we're out.